Let's take you on a time jump, virtual zoom, bringing it back to Theodore's bedroom. These hands are passionately polysyllabic, putting the Jeopardy theme on swings. 10 dons giving predictions, balancing vibes like the sons and daughters of Ipwan. Ear to the ear to the underground, flicking off peppermint, fresh experiment. Let's go. El Premier Elemento, you gotta take your time, press your fingers to the line. Red man, focus your mind. And once you do that, you're at the front of the combine.
Alright, what's going on, folks? It's BBoy Toyz going on once again for another lesson in intermediate breaking. We're going to be going over some more footwork today, bringing everything together a little bit more to kind of develop a more round, versatile footwork style, just bringing everything together with sweeps, shuffles, threads, and things like that. And then we're going to go a little bit over some of the basic mechanics of ground power, or the basic fundamentals of power moves, starting with like proper form, some stretches to do, and some things that I would consider to be good prerequisites, not super necessary, but definitely certain things to learn before getting into power that'll make power much easier. So anyways, sorry, got itchy eyes there. So as per usual, we're gonna start with some basic stretches, and then we're gonna move our way into footwork, and then we're gonna slowly transition a little bit into power, form, and technique, just really basic stuff. But yeah, so as usual, starting with the stretch, we're going to go into a split first, right? Always start off light if you can't go into a big one right away. So we're going to do a little split. And again, keep your knees straight. Okay. So I'm gonna do a little bit of opposite hands and feet type of stretches. So from here, my left hand's gonna go to my right. Alright, go back to your center real quick. Okay, go down a little bit lower if you can. Stretch your legs out and split them apart further if you can. And then right hand to your left. Develop cramp here. All right. Make sure you try to keep your back straight. Go lower if you can. switch sides one more time. Okay. So, feet together, legs in a diamond shape, back straight, going down, a little butterfly stretch. Huh. Fit cramps, definitely. Don't kill yourself. Just do what your body can. All right. Anyways, from here. All right. Keep your legs straight. And then just do straight leg stretches. So, right leg over your left. Okay, and then your left arm twists over the knee if you can. If you can't go over the knee, just try to hug your leg. So switch legs, get your left leg over your right, and then right arm over your left. Let's do a quick counter stretch. So we're gonna do a couple back stretches now, and this will be a great way to warm up and develop your flexibility when doing power moves. So first we're gonna do some shoulder stands, and then do varying degrees of shoulder stands real quick. So from here, lying on your back, try to bring your legs above in front of your face, and then use your arms to support your lower hips. So from here, try to shoot up, and just try to hold this as best as you can. The higher, the better. But if you can't, just do whatever your body can do and try to get your legs up in the air and your lower back off the ground. And then from here, what you want to do is bring your legs towards your face. Try to keep your legs straight. And then even further, if you can, bring your arms above your head and make like a Y shape and try to just balance yourself. Okay. This is the prime spot in which to do back spins and develop your windmill form. You always want to be on your upper back. You never want to go below your shoulder blades when you're doing power on the ground. And yeah, this is going to be the basis for back spins, windmills, shoulder spins, munch mills, tombstones, all those crazy power moves that you see people do on the ground. Okay? So just stay here for as long as you can. And then from here, another thing you can do to challenge yourself that helps develop better backspins is from here, bend your legs or bend your knees until your shins are pointing straight up. And this is going to be your ideal backspin form. Okay? You want to be on your upper back, legs over your face, and your shins pointing straight up, as that'll be the center of balance for your backspin. Okay? Cool. Alright. So real quick, we'll do some footwork and then go into power. So, okay, cool. So, we'll just come up with some basic footwork drills to work on, and just basically help sharpen up everything that you do in general, footwork-wise. So what we're going to do is do some basic shuffles, followed by a repetition of hooks. And then it's just going to be that simple, just doing some shuffles, side shuffles, followed by a repetition of hooks on each side. So always a good drill to do, and you want to maintain your sharpness and cleanliness as you're doing this drill. As you're doing it over and over and you're getting more and more tired, you want to make sure you're still, even if you slow down a bit, you want to make sure the steps are still very, crisp, clean, sharp. No fumbling around or tripping with your other feet. That sort of deal. So start things off from here. We're going to start off, we'll start off in a push-up position. So from here, what you want to do is go around step 1, 2, 3. And then from here, we do a hook. Step 4. All right. Reverse it to a hook on the other side. Go back. Hook on the other side. And then from here, reverse again to continue the same direction. All right. And then what you're going to do is sweep your legs over and go right into a shuffle. Okay. So a basic leg shuffle, just your legs crisscrossing. You can do like a 3 or 4. In terms of how many times you shuffle, you can do like 3 or 4 times. Okay, so from here you can do swing right into it. So swing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Go back to a push-up position, and then continue back into a 6-up. And then, of course, you would repeat this pattern multiple times, just for the sake of practicing cleaning up your footwork in general. So it makes you focus on crisp, clean lines in your shuffles, proper clean hooks on each side, so they're not like each foot's dangling in the air or anything. You want to make sure it's pop, pop, like hit those hooks really clean. Hit the shuffles real clean without your feet hitting each other. and you're just going to repeat this over and over. So from here, again, I'll do it a few times in a row. Like that. And it's just a repetition of doing it over and over again. And same thing, practice doing it the other way. You'll notice if you start developing more consistent steps and a better, and the form for your 6-step shuffles, sweeps, and all that become cleaner and more consistent. You'll notice you kind of end up in the exact same positions over and over again for when you do certain drills. So I kind of like, you'll notice that I started off facing you guys, and then I end up kind of facing to might be a little confusing, but with the camera angles, but my 4 o'clock, and then I end up back facing the front. So I kind of rotate like twice, and it's just going to be the same positions over and over and over again. So if you're moving around a lot, that's fine. Just make sure you keep working on your steps and try to clean it up. So one more time, for those of you who already know some of this and picked it up really quickly picked it up, it's very easy, but it's a really good drill to practice. So if you can, try to do it like, that was a good number. Let's say like 5 times in a row. Do it 5 times in a row, as swiftly as possible, and without necessarily rushing it, if that makes any sense. You want to do this as swiftly as possible, quickly as possible. But again, the main point of this drill is to focus on making your steps very clean, not necessarily just really, really fast and sloppy. If you are kind of like tripping over yourself, or you realize you're moving around too much, slow yourself down a little bit and try to make your movements more consistent, cleaner, and sharper. I'm doing it slow, so it looks like my hooks and my shuffles are very clean, but even when I do it fast, there should be still those moments of like clear hits of those steps each step of the way. Okay, so we'll do this together. Take your time doing this if you're not confident about doing it quickly, but for those of you who do have your footwork down pat, do this 5 times in a row. And again, just try to make it each time very consistent. Pay attention to how you do your hooks. Let's say, for example, you go from the first pattern, you do it really clean, you know, but then as you come around after the shuffle and all that, you know, if you pay attention and be aware of what your own body is doing. Let's say, for example, on the second time around, you don't go all the way around your ankle, like you rush it, you know, and you kind of stumble a little bit. Those are things to take note of, and for you to take your time and slow it down and improve upon it and make things cleaner and sharper. So 5 times in a row, to the best of your ability. Doesn't have to be super fast. Do it slow and steady if you want, or challenge yourself, or if you just already have it. This is always like a good drill to just simply to maintain. So starting now, we'll start off in a push-up position, and this coming back to this will be one. So one whole round is hook, hook, sweep right into a shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's one. So you're back in the push-up position. And then rinse, lather, and repeat. So we'll all do this together 5 times in a row. And then we'll do a light stretch real quick and go over a couple more things after that. So anyways, so from here, 5 times in a row, go at your own pace. After I'm done, I'll wait a few minutes and stretch in case some of you are still working your way through it. So ready, set, go. So I'm going to stretch now, but if you're still doing it, take your time. Make sure you follow through with each step, and just maintain a level of cleanliness and tremor. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. For those of you who are finished, just fall into a stretch while we take like a minute or two for anyone who's still working through their footwork drill. There's no name for this drill, by the way. At least I don't think. It's just a random pattern. A lot of people use this drill to sharpen their footwork. So, very common pattern, again. Just something you can use to show off your cleanliness in footwork, or build on top of it. You can do the exact same thing, but start adding shapes to your shuffles. You can add shuffle to the other side, come back around, and then go around back to a hook. You can do threads in between, you know what I mean? So, this can also be a blueprint to build off of and actually like develop like a whole footwork set off of. So for example, it can be like a little brainstorming session, if you will. I'll just show something different you can do for each segment of that pattern of the footwork drill we just did, and that way you can also have some fun with it. So, starting from here again, you can do a basic, work your way around from the 6th step to the squat position, the 3rd step, or you can do something like a little step over and come back around. Just something really simple, Just adding one little thing can just elevate something very, very basic, Elevate something basic with something else that's already basic. And then that's kind of how you can create more complex footwork patterns and steps. You go from basic on top of basic, on top of basic, to like something more advanced on top of advanced, to just something like very intricate on top of something intricate, so on and so forth. So you can do, you know, like that, just a little step over after the first step, just step over, come back, and then continue the step, you know. You can even do a hook, step here, do a hook in the air, come back and step into a hook, you know, so up in the air, down, all the way to the ground. You can, from here, if you want to do something a little bit more challenging, from here you can rotate all the way around, step back, and come around, you know? Again, just a million different things. And even for the hook, okay? From here, before you come to a hook and switching over your arms, you can do a little leg sweep while you're still on your left arm. So for example, from here, step, swing your right leg over, and then you're gonna leg sweep over your left ankle, and then come to a hook. Doing it with speed kind of makes that whole transition a lot easier. So one more time, step, sweep around and hook. So you're basically, from here, instead of switching arms, stay on your left arm, and you're just sweeping over this foot, coming back, and then going to a hook. Again, very simple leg sweep, real basic, but add basic on top of basic. It becomes something much more interesting. You're just adding layers to some of these steps when you do things like this, like just adding like one little thing or twisting it, and just think more outside the box if you can, and then you'll start to have like really a lot of fun with footwork. That's the main reason why everyone falls in love with footwork is, you know, just the fact that there's like so many different possibilities to connect different steps together. Okay, so doing it quickly will be like that. You know what I'm saying? Just very easy. And then if you wanted to, hook, or you do a sweep and then a hook. And then from here, same thing, but the other way. Hook. And then you can go to your shuffle patterns. You know what I'm saying? So you can, some of these things you can apply back to back. Or another fun idea, do the first leg sweep, but then instead of switching sides entirely, do the first leg sweep, and then the same leg that did it can reverse, and then you can go to the other side to a hook. So for example, that would look like from here, 2, 3, boom, and then just reverse again, hook underneath that knee, and now you hook to the other side. Okay, so sometimes you don't always have to switch sides completely. You can just reverse it to the other side. Something to think about. Like I mentioned before, you should always learn how to do moves in both directions on both sides. That just opens up a whole world of new ideas. You know what I mean? So real quick, if we piece everything together so far, if we do like the simple step over and the forward to reverse leg sweep to the other hook, a simple pattern like this, that with our little twist just now ends up looking like that. Technically the exact same thing. You're just tweaking and adding in things in between all those major points in footwork. So then from here, if we want to continue adding ideas to this pattern, sweep into shuffles, but instead of normal shuffles, you can add shapes to those. So like one of my favorite ways to do shuffles is to do a figure 4, as opposed to just doing back and forth. So an example of that would be if I sweep straight into it, okay? Instead of just crisscrossing, you can switch and bend whichever leg is in front over the other leg and keep the other leg straight. So it creates this, figure 4 shape with your legs. So you can do boom, boom, crossover, unfold, switch, come to a hook. So that basically ends up looking like trying to figure out the best angle for this. So from here, a hook, you can open up, switch, figure 4, right? Unfold, shuffle, back to hook. So then it kind of looks like it's twisting in and up into itself and unraveling afterwards. You know what I mean? So it looks like it's twisting, unraveling, twisting, unraveling. So something like that would be like that. Okay, and then again, you put the whole thing together. It goes from this, something basic, from that, and just adding those little basic steps in between, it turns into and then from there, you just, what I'm saying? Just keep adding more and more layers to it. You can start going up and down, adding levels, add threads in between, whatever you feel like adding or taking away, you know what I'm saying? So, just play around with some ideas, figure out which ones work for your style and your body type the best. And the world is yours. All right, so real quick, we're gonna do another stretch real quick before we move on to some power moves. Or actually, we're not gonna really actually do power moves. This is, I'm gonna basically introduce you to the proper form for power moves and certain techniques to build off of. So this would be good for people who are absolutely new to power moves, or if you're already working on power moves, or if you think you already have pretty good power. I would still pay attention, as this could help you clean up your power form. It could help clean up your techniques. Or if you already do same thing as I do, and you already have this form down pat, maybe you'll catch something slightly different or new. For me, everyone, teaches differently. Maybe you'll pick up something new, and then, again, it'll just help you polish whatever you have even further. So gonna do some stretches for power. So obviously we're gonna do some splits again real quick before we go into any of these stretches or positioning. Okay. So I'm just kind of leaning my body over to my left leg. Switch over to my right side. This floor is getting dirty. So this is my left leg in front, my right leg is bent back, and doing one of these stretches, you can lean back, stretching your thigh. Okay. Right hand to your left foot. Switch. Left hand to your right foot. All right. Legs straight. So, one more time with the shoulder stands and the back spin stretches. Up and use your hands, otherwise, if you can, over your head, hands above your head. You can try splitting your legs if you want. Grab your toes. All right, so these are pretty crucial positions to work on, and another quintessential move to learn before you start delving into power moves is shoulder freezes. Not the same as shoulder stands, a little bit different. So going on your, I'm doing it on my right side. You can do it on your opposite arm if you want. But this is something you should learn on both shoulders. As you'll learn, it'll be pretty important to learn to stand on each shoulder, depending on the type of move or transition you're doing for power. It's all these positions are extremely crucial to developing your power. and cleaning up your form. So from here, right arm, you want to just lay flat and basically bring your hips up. And you want to be leaning on your shoulder. Not the front or the back, just literally just flat on the side of your shoulder. Okay? Your other hand should go on the floor in front of your face. And then from here, the other arm can be extended on the ground, pushing off the ground by using this arm to resist. And then basically from here, keep your hips up high and try to do the basic thing and rest your legs on your elbow, like so. Okay? And this is your basic shoulder freeze. Okay? If you can, try to extend your body all the way up. Alright? So, really basic freeze, really basic balancing move. If you can do handstands, you'll most definitely be able to do this. It's not much harder. Very different feel. Just because you have handstands won't necessarily mean you can do shoulder freezes. Just because you can do shoulder freezes doesn't mean you'll necessarily learn handstands faster. The feel, center of balance, and everything is quite different. So now we're going to try the other side, and definitely focus on one side first, but eventually you want to move on to the other side and make sure you have both sides down pat pretty evenly. You want to make sure it's pretty much borderline symmetrical, if you will. So from here, I'm on my left shoulder, right hand in front of my face, hips up, and then from here, legs over my elbow, and just try to balance it. Hips should be off the ground. Okay? If you can, all the way up. So I'm losing my balance, trying to look at myself in the camera. So, right side one more time. Left side. As you can see, I'm not that comfortable on my left side, but that's obviously I should start working on that more and getting more comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? But you should practice both sides to the point where you're comfortable either or, and it becomes basically like a second nature. Okay, so from there, another thing you can work on is leaning on your shoulder and basically doing almost like a cartwheel around your upper back. So you're going from one side all the way to the other using just your feet. So for example, from here, okay, if I were to swing my leg, just going onto my upper back and then rolling onto my other foot. This is going to be also a very important form or motion to get comfortable with to help develop your power. So from here, all the way to the other side. Um, basically, whenever you're doing power, you're never going down to your mid back or lower back. You're going to be on your upper back the whole time. So, really basic positions to be working on. And the more comfortable you get doing these things, the better your power will become, cleaner it looks, the easier your transitions will become. So for example, if you're doing backspin or windmills to headspin, if you're already on your upper back, you're going to be able to just pop up onto your head, no problem. You're literally right there already. As opposed to, let's say if you're doing windmills or backspins on your lower to mid back, you then have to work your way up first to your upper back and then to your head. So it's the little things like that that make a really big difference. My backspins aren't necessarily perfect either. I do mine kind of close to my mid back, but it's still relatively on my upper back. And you know, it's just one of those things that I'm still working on to this day. Some people have it down immaculately. I still need to develop that further. But again, just the higher up on your back you are, the better. Okay. So, real quick, I'm just gonna showcase some really basic power moves to kind of give you an idea of why being on your upper back is so important. So, backspins. I'm gonna do some backspins, and you'll see how being higher up on your back makes a really big difference. Okay. So my head was kind of off the ground. I could have been higher, but you can see where how that form can lead to easier transitions. The higher up you are on your back, you can bounce to your head much easier. If you can bounce to your head much easier, you can bounce to your hands much easier. You know, backspins or windmill to 90 or air flare or flares or anything of that nature. It just kind of connects super smoothly, super easily. You almost have to put in zero effort. I just know for a fact when I cleaned up my backspins, my backspin to head spins just became effortless because you're just right there already. So one more time, I'll do my backspin. And again, keep note of the stretch we did earlier and how that applies to backspins directly. So yeah, so one more time. Okay, so you see my arms above my head. They help you balance and find your center of gravity on your upper back. Your legs over your head help maintain that center of gravity, and you create a center point from which you can spin and the rest of your body rotates around. And then, depending on the shape of your legs and how you develop the shape of your legs throughout your backspin, you can build up speed and almost kind of keep going and going and going. I'll do my backspin one more time, and then for those of you at home that already have backspins, try to first focus on keep your arms out in a Y. Slowly bring your legs in. You almost want to start off in like your legs bent but split for the most part, and you want to basically slowly bring them in, really tuck them in, and then after you tuck your legs in and ball up your legs, then you bring your arms in slowly over your knees, or you can bring in your arms slowly behind the knees. Okay, so it's very important that you do it this way. If you bring your arms in and your legs in at the same time, could still work, but there's a higher chance of your body wobbling. So as opposed to spinning at a center point, you might kind of start spinning on different parts of your back minutely. And instead of, spinning in one place, your body kind of starts to wobble. And then when that happens, you'll know when you do that, because, you'll start to slowly travel in your backspins, and or you lose your momentum right away, because you're no longer developing momentum in a single direction. It's just going all over the place. Not everyone is perfect. I actually am not entirely sure if I moved around or not, but the more centered you are, the better. And again, it helps to keep your arms out to help you find that balance. From, if this was like a bird's eye view, as you're back spinning, legs first, after your legs tuck behind the knee or fold over the knee, and then that should maximize the speed and potential of your backspin. Of course, what makes a big difference is the initial setup for it. If you go into it slowly, you're only going to go so fast, you know what I mean? So almost every time you want to make sure when you cali or tabletop your way into this move, you whip your legs really hard, and you get into that form of being on your upper back, arms to the Y, legs split over your face. You want to get into that position ASAP. Sooner the better. If you can do it almost instantly, you'll really maximize the speed and momentum of your backspin. So, one more time. So you can see my arms were at a Y, my legs came in, then my arms went around my legs. I don't remember if I folded over or underneath my knees. I do it differently depending on how I'm feeling. So one last time. So just take note of each section of my body moving and hitting the form and positions one after the other. Okay, and then I'll start off slow so that you can see how the positioning and movement of each different body part can attribute to building more momentum and more speed in your backspins. Okay, so you'll see me fully spread out at first. Then I'll bring my knees in, and then I'll bring my arms in. And then once you're really good and comfortable with back swings, you can actually do from here. You can do the shoulder stands from here and actually drill it out. So when you kick your leg straight up in the air, you'll continue spinning even further and possibly even faster. And almost some people use that as a trick to kick in and out to build up momentum, come back, build up momentum, come back, and almost be able to do backspins for not infinitely, but for an incredibly long period of time, much longer than most average people who do backspins. So the more you work on this form, the better. If you have really good backspins, the better the rest of your ground power will be. This is like really, truly the fundamental move and intro to like all the rest of your other power moves. So one last time. Like so, not perfect, but we're all still striving for perfection. So, but that's just an example. There are people who can do this much better than I. I think I can do it pretty well, but then there are people who can do it even way better than I can. So, practice makes perfect. Work on those forms. Work on your shoulder freezes. Work on the stretch, the backspin stretches, legs over your head, arms at a Y. Work on your shoulder stands, and get comfortable rolling around on your upper back. All these things will help you develop better power and clean up your form over time. Okay, but oh boy. So. We can always kind of elaborate, and I can show you more examples of how almost every power move uses your upper back. But yeah, it's 7:59 now, so until next time, peace. Just gonna